And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes. 2 for on the tier list. If you haven't already, go check out the small forward tier list. Also the shooting guard and point guard one too. Help your boy out. Drop a like on all those too, especially this one. Begging for likes at the beginning. I'm a whole new man. Anyways, you know what a tier list is. We're ranking all of the best power forwards in NBA 2K22 My Team, which is something different, I suppose. S tier, unquestionable best cards in the game. A tier, just a shade under S tier. I feel like the power forward position is it's kind of balanced. It's weird. B tier, very good cards. Majority of the community are going to be using guys in this tier. You can pretty much take anyone in B tier and go win games with them. Mid tier. Mid, I don't really need to explain it too much, but you can definitely win games with guys like this. You can definitely plug them into a clutch time lineup and go get dubs. D tiers, where you're going to be seeing your outdated superstars, just guys who really just don't cut it anymore. F tier, they're F tier. They're a shade above trash, but still trash. And trash tier. Just remember, I do rank them within the tier as well. So the top card in B tier is going to be closer to the bottom in A tier, whereas the bottom of B tier is going to be closer to mid. So just remember that. Carlos Boozer, F. Boozer. It's Boozer. Also, they don't even have the realistic Boozer sounds in the game. He's not like, "Hey, Joe," every time he grabs a rebound, which would be sick. Bulls fans know what's up. Boozer yelling is like nightmare fuel. Elton Brand, trash. And we never got it. We never get a good Elton Brand card, dude. Just one time I want a good Elton Brand card. They did a good job giving random dudes high profile cards this year, but Elton Brand was not one of them. Batum, I'm going to say D because this card was such a dominating presence for a little bit in the early game. Endgame Chris Webber, I'm going to say A. He's got an inconsistent jump shot in base 112, and I think that does hurt him. Also because he's a reward version of an endgame card. He's not quote-unquote the best, so I think that's kind of whack, but A. Udonis Haslem, trash. We're at the stage where pretty much every card can shoot, so if a card can't shoot, it's probably going to go in trash tier. He's a good defender on the interior only. Jonathan Isaac, I'm going to say mid because this is one of those legacy cards that gets mid-grade representation because he's still usable and limited. So, yeah. Rick Barry, trash. Straight trash. Robert Covington, he gets respect, dude. D tier. This card was fire for a bit. I hate this card. I hate this Zion. He's probably low D tier, but God, I might even drop him. I despise this card. Aaron Gordon, mid. For real. Aaron Gordon's good, though. This card was decent. Not quite as good as some of the other cards in the Zero Gravity set, but the Zero to Gravity set I feel like was a lot better than people give it credit, but at the same time, it just came out in a time where it was just going to get blasted 2 weeks afterwards, Ooh, Tim Duncan, B. I like this card a lot. I think the jump shot's clean. He moves really well. He plays good defense. He's an invincible Tim Duncan. I feel like this year, Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett were so much better than they've been the past couple years. I really do. Garnett, maybe not. I remember Garnett being pretty good in past 2Ks. But Duncan, I feel like this is the best Duncan's been in a while. AC Green, mid. AC Green's not bad. I've been watching that Lakers documentary on Hulu. Feels really sanitized. I feel like they're not getting into the nitty gritty. Rob Lowe did admit to doing coke in the forum room, though. That's pretty cool. He's kind of a bad person. Giannis, A. This would go for NBA 75 Giannis as well. I would say they're both A tier. I don't think they're the best Giannis, but they can play the small forward, which I think is important for sure. I think Giannis is really good, though. His player build's just dumb, man. Al Harrington, F. He can shoot. That's about it. He's better than Boozer. Amari Stoudemire. I wish we got another Amari. This is actually the best Amari's been in a few years, too, I feel. So it was cool to see that. This Amari, not quite as good, but D tier would be appropriate for him, I think. Andre Karolinko, D. AK was so good earlier in the year, and they just refused to give us an endgame. Not even an endgame Karolinko, but an invincible Karolinko. Why has he never gotten an invincible card? Gross. Andrew Bogut. I don't think this card's great, but he's better than all the guys in D tier. And I think low mid tier is appropriate. Anton Jameson, mid as well. Anthony Davis, I would say B tier. I actually do think that Tim Duncan's better, but I think everybody else would say Anthony Davis is better. Nah, I like Tim Duncan, dude. I'm doing it. Endgame Anthony Davis. I would say A tier. Honestly, the reason I would say A tier is because I think the way the game is right now, 6'10" is a little too small to play the power forward. I really do, which is it's messed up. All right, I don't like that that's a thing, but I mean when people are running 7'4" guys at the power forward position, if this Anthony Davis could play a small forward, not only would he be S tier, he'd literally be probably the best small forward in the game. It's just they did him dirty with the positions, man. Josh Smith, mid, very good. McDice, this is the best McDice has been in 2K as well. Crochet, F. Zero Gravity Blake Griffin, mid. I feel like this card was pretty good. Like I said, the Zero Gravity set was decent. It's just like it came out at a bad time, you know? Ooh, it's time for some hot takes. Bob McAdoo, B tier. I think this card is really, really good, and I think not a lot of people used him. And he is a little bit small at the power forward for sure. But I think he's a lot better than you realize. And if you have this card, you should go give him another shot. You might have fun. Bob Nedelicki, B. B. He's one of the only big men that has set shot 25 that doesn't step over the line on current gen. That has to count for something. Bob Nedelicki is the sole reason that every single endgame card has set shot 25. For good or for worse. Bojan, he can only shoot and do nothing else. I would literally run Austin Crochet over him. Bob Pettit, D. He's not really that good. He's okay, though. Diamond Bull, I would say at this stage is probably the best card in D tier. I mean, you can make a... Would I use him over Andrew Bogut? It's entirely possible. I'm going to go ahead and drop Andrew Bogut and AC Green just to make Bull be in here. Yeah, that's appropriate. This Bull, on the other hand, is B tier. He's still a B tier card. People say like you can't run him or he's not valid. I feel like that is incorrect. Boris Diaw. I almost want to put him in B tier, but I'm going to keep him in mid for now. Steve Novak. Yeah, he's better than Bojan. Jermaine O'Neal. I still think Jermaine O'Neal is like mid tier for sure. Sean Kemp. I would say Sean Kemp is D. He's okay. Robert Horry. On current gen, he's like mid tier because he can't shoot from the corners, but on next gen, he's like B. At the small forward, he's good. I would say he's like right here. Brandon Clark, this card was pretty nasty. Mid for sure. Brian Scalabrine, I'm not disrespecting Big Scal and throwing him in F tier. Refuse. Calvin Nat, low D tier as well. Cameron Johnson was actually pretty good. He's got that wicked afro, man. I love it. Charlie Villanueva, F. Chet Holmgren, I would say is B as well. Chet's decent. He does get bullied a little bit. His jump shot's a wee bit inconsistent, but I still think he's good. Chimezi Metu. This card held it down for me for a while, but I'd probably put him at F. Chris Bosh. I mean, Bosh is okay enough to get mid tier. We never got another Bosh either. Whack. Chris Boucher. I love Chris Boucher, dude. You guys know I love this card. Mid for sure. Over Aaron Gordon. Kyle Kuzma. Absolutely, dude. Kyle Kuzma gets mid tier as well. Dorian Finney-Smith. No question mid tier. This card was so good. Still is. Christian Laettner, D. I wish we would have gotten an invincible Christian Laettner card. That would have been so tight. I mean, obviously, like, Greg Ostertag for sure over Christian Laettner, but, like, you know. Power within Chris Webber, I would throw in D tier as well. I've never seen anybody use this card before. Young Yi, D. Never got another Yi either. Disrespectful. James Worthy. Yeah, I would say Worthy's mid. Higher up in mid, though. Josh Smith. Josh Smith is still valid. You could run Josh Smith right now. B. Power forward, small forward, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. A tier. I'm honestly thinking about putting him in S, and I might. I would say he's one of the best cards, if not the best card in B. Or in A tier. This card is so good. Larry Nance. F at this stage. Like, Julius Randle. D. Juwan Howe, I hate this card. You could put him in F. That's probably more accurate, but I really don't care. Kevin Love, this card sucks. Juwan Howard, this one, I would say is like in the pink diamond parade over here in mid-tier. Very solid. Chuma Okeke, D. That's that guy. Karl Malone. Mid. I would say mid. I wish we would have got like an Evo for Karl Malone. Made him like an invincible Karl Malone. They showed them they could do that. That would have been sick. Then he would have been in B. Clark Kellogg, trash. Cliff Robinson, I would throw an F tier. No, he's not that much worse than McDice. Dan Issel, that's the guy right there, dude. I actually think that Bogut's like better than a lot of these cards. Throw Dan Issel in D. Or is it Issel? I can never remember. Everybody always lets me know in the comments, though. Danny Ferry, although I think this card is overrated, I would say that Danny Ferry is still B tier. Danny Manning, D. This card was really disappointing. This Danny Manning, I think is good, but not quite B tier. So I would throw him in like mid. Yeah, I think that's appropriate for him. I like the card, but he can't really move that well. So Sharif Abdul-Rahim, yeah, mid. Dario Saric, he's just outdated. He shouldn't even be on this list, honestly. Billy Cunningham, this card was actually okay. He kind of got busy, dude. He did. Same with Dave DeBoucher. I like him too. They're both a little bit small, but they were decent. John Collins was fire. Dude, you remember everybody was running John Collins for a while in season 2. I think it was season 2 or 3. Oh my God. I could not play a clutch time game without running into John Collins. JT Thor, I think, I'm a little high on JT Thor, but D. Young Carl, this Karl Malone's not bad. So like D. David West, F. Dennis Rodman, it hurts to do this, but D. Really did Rodman dirty this year. Derrick Jones Jr. was okay. Put him by like Chuma and D. Scotty Barnes, this one's still slightly valid, so I would put him like right here in mid tier. Endgame Dirk, this is a hot take for sure, but I'm going to put him in S with Kareem. I think this Dirk is so slept on. Anyone who has this card, he might still be a top power forward in this game. Dolph Shays, outdated but mid. DeMontis Sabonis, this card sucks, F. Danielle Marshall, D. Kevin Mchale, mid. He's not bad. You could plug Kevin Mchale into your lineup and go get a win in clutch time right now. And that's kind of my barometer for rankings. Dorian Finney-Smith, he gets love for sure, mid. These guys just deserve mid tier because they were so good this year. Pau Gasol, okay, this one's going to be a hot take as well, but I think Pau Gasol still deserves B tier. I literally will put Pau Gasol in my lineup every once in a while and go get a win in clutch time. So for that reason, I think he deserves to be here. Yes, his jump shot's kind of not good, but you can work around it. Doug McDermott, D. Draymond, I think Draymond is okay. I'd put him in like mid tier, just a slow jumper. Elvin Hayes is horrible. F. He's, you know what? No. Yeah. Straight trash, dude. Thurl Bailey, outdated, but like mid tier. I wish we got another Thurl too, dude. Disrespectful, man. Thon Maker. That's a tough one. I think if I have Danny Ferry up in B tier, I have to put Thon Maker in B tier as well. Yeah. Evan Mobley. Hot take, Evan Mobley is A tier. I really, really like Evan Mobley. I think he's really good. I use him pretty often. Scotty Barnes. Oh, yeah, dude. Scotty Barnes is S. Better as a small forward, certainly, but very, very good. Fernando Martin. Fernando Martin's like B, just like lower B. I think he definitely got a bad rap, but he was okay. Penny Hardaway, D. George McGinnis shouldn't have been here, but trash. Giannis, F. Or, I'm sorry, I said F. S, for sure. No question about it. He's probably the best card in S tier. Thad Young, D. We didn't get an updated Thad either. Disrespectful. LeBron James, power forward. I'll put him right next to Josh Smith. There's really not a whole lot of difference between these two cards. Honestly, Josh Smith is always very similar to LeBron in game. The fact he can only play power forward is really whack, and I honestly want to put him in mid tier, but like at the same time, he's still an invincible LeBron. Zion, I don't like this card. I'm gonna put him in D tier. You could argue he's mid. It doesn't matter. Power forward Giannis. If this Giannis could play small forward, he would be S tier. Because he does have that Pippen behind the back, which I think is huge, but I would say he's probably the best card in A tier. Giannis can definitely get away with playing power forward, though. Glenn Big Baby Davis, trash. Oh, yeah, Grant Williams, you definitely get love in the mid. This Grant Williams, like, actually is pretty solid, though. Like, mid tier. Yeah, I'd probably put him up here. Good. Hakeem Warwick, F. Horace Grant, I would say, is in the mid tier as well. I was excited for that card. You remember Horace Grant last year? My man could like curry slide and was basically bull. It's crazy. Jabari Smith. Yeah, I think Jabari's actually really good. Just a little bit small for sure, but he can cook, man. Jabari's out here. Jaden McDaniels. This card is actually decent, like mid. It's a card that I recommend going to try out. You might actually like it a lot. Is it like a premier card that you can run against the best endgame squads in the game? Not necessarily, but it's good. Jay Crowder held me down this year, dude. D. Tim Duncan. I still think legitimately this card is like mid. Like, I do. It's still... You could definitely plug Tim Duncan in your lineup. Would it be a good idea? No. But could you get a win? Yes. Jashawn Tate. Did I have Bruce Brown in here yet? If I did, Jashawn Tate is bad. He's small. He's 6'4", too. Tom Chambers is D. I want to put him higher, but he's D. That jump shot is horrendous. Keegan Murray, mid. Same with Jalen Duran. Like, I think they're actually good. You could plug these guys in your lineup and you can win games right now if you needed to. Jalen Johnson, if you have a badged up version, he's mid, but I think D is appropriate for him. Sean Kemp. I think Kemp's actually pretty good. Like mid, though. Jamal Hashburn, D. PJ Tucker. D. This Jamal, F. He's just outdated. Jaren Jackson Jr., hot take. I think he's A tier. Jump shot's a little slow, I'll admit, but he's just a really fun card to use. Great player build. Nothing wrong. Jared Vanderbilt, D. Jerry Lucas, also D. This Jerry Lucas, F. Jonathan Isaac, I think even though he is outdated, still B tier. Still very good. I would use him over everybody in mid. Keldon Johnson, D. Kenyon Martin, D, but this card was actually pretty solid too. Kenyon Martin Jr., where is Jashawn Tate? No, he's a little better than Jashawn Tate. Ronnie Bass is the top jump shot in the game, dude. It's one of the top, D. Kevin Garnett, I mean, once again, people may disagree, but I think B tier is appropriate for Garnett. I think he's really, really good. I do. Jump shot's not bad. Kevin Love, he's usable, mid. Kevin Willis, F. He's huge, though. Kurt Rambis, can't put him in trash, but he is, like, borderline trash, so I'm going to put him at the end of F, but Kurt Rambis is my boy. LaMarcus Aldridge, he's still decent. Like, he's still good, so I would throw him, like, right here in mid. There's definitely guys I would recommend using over him, but LaMelo, although he's small, he can ball for sure. Bars. Mid. LaFonso Ellis, D. He wasn't really good. Larry Johnson, D. Larry Nance, mid. Lowry Markkinen, I think this card's actually a lot better than like a lot of people think, and I did not expect this card to be good, but he kind of is. Leon Poe, trash. Luis Scola, F. Bagley is not bad. I would put him in D by like Ronnie. I don't know why. Just don't think too hard about it. Mo Lucas. Yeah, where's Cliff Robinson? People tried to use Mo Lucas. I tried just because everyone else was using him. He just never really worked for me. Michael Porter Jr. gets D tier because he held it down at the beginning of the year. Miles Bridges, trash. Belinka, trash. Obi Toppin, like low D tier. Once again, another maybe hot take, but Paolo is probably B tier. I'd put him by like LeBron and Josh Smith. I think he's really good. I wish he could play small forward though. Pascal Siakam, he's outdated. Pat Burke, I'm gonna get the Irish out here mad as hell at me, but D, like I have to. Patrick Williams, oh yeah, dude. He gets love. This card is fun. Paul Millsap, easily the worst domination reward we've had in like a long period of time. That card sucked. Paul Silas, dude. People were running this card. I remember TTO was an absolute wasteland when Paul Silas was out here. Oh, Popeye Jones? Good. Very, very solid. Rashard Lewis, I would say the same. Like, he's very usable. Just basically a 3-and-D guy, but a good one, I would say. Rick Barry, look at his doofy-ass free throw that he's about to shoot, but, like, D. Remember that card was, like, $400K for a little while because everyone wanted Art Gilmore. Robert Horry, D, not bad. Rudy, I would say, is still, like, low mid-tier. You can still definitely play with Rudy for sure. He's just outdated. Rui, I think, deserves mid because of his stupid dynamic duo that you had to see every weekend in Limited. For that, he definitely deserves it. Serge Ibaka, as much as I like Serge, I think mid is appropriate for him. Though I wouldn't even argue with you if you wanted to put him in B because I think the card's really, really good. Stromile Swift, not great. Terry Cummings, I hate this card. It sucks. Whatever. Tom Chambers, F. Trey Lyles, F. Tyler Hansbrough, hell yeah. With the Evo and the dynamic duo, mid for sure. Tyrone Hill is terrible. Wendell Carter, I would say, is like D. And finally, Zach Randolph, I would say, is like D as well. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Where should cards have gone? Did your favorite card get ranked too high or too low? Let me know down in the comments. Drop a like on this video. I'll be back with the centers. Not sure when, but I'll get it done. So, peace.